Alright guys, TacticalRab back again today. Hope you're all doing well and enjoying your day so far. Welcome back to VALORANT news, and with champions not too far away, FNS from OpTic has revealed that 100 Thieves actually stole a lot of the OpTic gaming strategies, especially on Fracture, to get the victory that they did at the last chance qualifier. What does this mean going into the World Championship? And could we maybe get an OpTic versus Thieves matchup that would put all this type of stuff to the test? Very much intrigued to your thoughts in the comment section below. Hit the like button if you enjoy. Subscribe if you're new as always. I'd greatly appreciate it. Really ups to the channel. Thank you very much indeed for doing that one. Plenty to discuss today. First of all, of course, we've got the hype video really for champions, of course, coming up in just a few days time. Epic play runs from August the 31st through to September the 18th. Don't miss a single moment, they say. So yes, 31st to I believe the 7th or 8th or so is when the group stage happens, and then after that it runs from I think the 9th through to the 18th in front of a crowd in Istanbul, of course, at the Volkswagen Arena. We'll see some more details on here in just a second, because questions have been raised. Here's FNS. We'll talk about him in a second. But yeah, questions have been raised as to when the tickets are going to go live, this type of stuff, which still don't seem particularly clear. But I mean, yeah, this video beautifully edited actually, with a lot of players that are of course going to be at this event. One team will win. Last year it was Ascend in rather remarkable circumstances. None of those players, I believe, are even at this year's champions, of course. And well, someone is going to try and do it again. The winners so far this year, OpTic, of course, won Masters. Reykjavik early on in stage 1. It was, of course, FPX that won Masters 2 in Copenhagen very recently. They are probably the favourites coming into this tournament, of course, but the reality stands, anyone could probably win this one. But yeah, 9th through to the 18th is going to be the playoffs, and the 18th of September a champion will be crowned. I think even Tarek made it in this. I might have missed it, but Tarek says somewhere, so I thought, I'd mention it at the very least. Yeah, he is right at the end of the video, so yeah, he managed just to get in there as well. Just to mention this, because of course the champions Phantom has officially arrived, and people were getting pretty hyped about this, the fact that the glow increases on the weapon as you get more kills. Of course, look, a lot of people hyped about this, probably can't even get 25 kills in a game, but they can do their best to make it look something like this. This also just to mention, because with champions coming up, there is another big tournament, the Misfits 20k Invitational. But in fairness, there are some notable players in this one, Ethan and co, and Kelly Summer in this one. Also, I believe Zelsis is on this team, so definitely one to watch potentially tonight as well. And Zelsis confirms playing in this tomorrow, right? So Zelsis, there was a question there yesterday, will he still be on Sentinels next season? Is that done for now? Is Shroud going to stay? What are they going to do? Because teams are going to make changes, and of course the results at champions determine most things. If OpTic or 100 Thieves or cNed wins champions, and let's say those organizations get through to franchising next year, they're going to try and keep their roster together. But if an organization wins that doesn't even get to franchising, then the question seriously starts to be raised. This happened a few years ago in Call of Duty when the league franchised, and the team that had just won the World Championship, that organization didn't get through to franchising. So all those players became free agents, and the team just completely disintegrated just a week or so after they won the World Championship. So it creates for some rather crazy and interesting storylines. Let's talk about the APAC League, because of course the Oceania region, or that one particular spot that they have for the Oceania side in the APAC League next season was meant to be getting taken up by Order, it seems, but then they went bankrupt like a couple of days ago. So unfortunately for APAC, they're going to have to try and someone else. Now apparently other organizations are getting offered this spot, maybe even NA or EMEA organizations that aren't going to get a spot in those respective leagues. Say, look, you can go over and represent us or represent Oceania, but you've got to sign players from Australia and stuff like this if you actually want to do that. So some organizations might be considering it. Some organizations like Sonics apparently haven't yet got involved or being talked about as of yet, and apparently there was even consideration for Riot just scrapping the Oceania spot and saying, look, if you're from Australia, New Zealand, unlucky, you're not getting a spot in the APAC League anyway. Now apparently they're not going to do that. That is apparently unlikely, but yeah, that would be really sad if that happens. I don't imagine it will though, because apparently a new organization, Team PWR, is looking to maybe enter Valorant again, and if they can get through and Riot is like, yes please, an actual Oceania organization that wants to come in that isn't bankrupt and potentially has some financing, then maybe that's what's going to happen as well. So we shall see on this one, but some updates on that front, and I'm sure more to come as well on over the coming days on franchising in general, because a big question right now, which organizations are going to get in, but also like which players are actually going to be signed, because pretty much everyone right now is trying to grind pretty hard to make sure that they can get spotted for next year's partnerships, where teams are going to pretty much pick from everywhere across the board. It's going to be absolutely crazy. Now look, first of all, just to mention this with champions coming up, because a couple of days ago we saw the champions tickets go live on like the Turkish Ticketmaster website, and then all of a sudden they're now no longer live, right? They've just disappeared, and we don't really know when they're even going to be there. So every day this drags on, gets kind of worse and worse for people who actually want to go, not just locally but also internationally as well. But still, I'll try and do my best to keep you guys updated on that one. This also to mention here from Derek and 100 Thieves, before we dive into the whole OpTic 100 Thieves potential drama here. But as well, Mike says, Pearl B-site equals Icebox B-site. Please nuke both of them, thank you. So yeah, lots of frustrations about Pearl. And the thing is, we haven't really seen Pearl played at all in competitive play, but it will be here at Champions, right? It's going to be here, it's going to be played. Split is not going to be played at Champions, as sad as that is, and Pearl is going to come through. Now, of course, all the teams have practiced on it. We really have no idea which teams are good at Pearl and which teams are not good at Pearl. But as Derek says, I'm having a great time on Reyna. I don't know what you're on about, right? Saying, yeah, actually, yeah, Pearl, a great map anyway. So definitely a weird one. I do think I do have faith in a guy like ShahZaM to come up with some great ideas, but maybe a lot of his playbook on other maps actually came rather directly from OpTic. We'll see in a second. But what do you guys think about this, right? Is Pearl actually any good? I think the more I've seen played of it, the more I kind of have grown to at least respect it. I'm not sure I necessarily like it yet. And the B-side is a bit of a mess in fairness. But I mean, yeah, of course, well, Mike's is working for 100 Thieves, so maybe Derek kind of disagrees with his own guy, but maybe an indication that yeah, maybe they're not going to play Pearl, maybe they are, who knows. But yeah, maybe Derek on the Reyna is the key factor here. But yeah, definitely a big one. I think that often, like, when the meta changes in a way like this, either teams just going to ban Pearl every series and never play it, or like some teams are going to really have a great grasp of how to play it and then use it to their advantage as the tournament progresses. We'll see, of course, in a short order. Now, speaking of champions, of course, 100 Thieves needed to win a massive lower bracket game up against Sentinels. They eventually won the game 3, 13-11, I think, on Haven after the kind of fake comeback from Sentinels to even make it through to champions in the first place, because they won that game. They beat Cloud9, they beat FaZe, they beat the Guard comfortably to end up qualifying for the tournament in the end. Got better and better as the tournament progressed. Now, OpTic noticed a few things about what was going on with the strat book that 100 Thieves were employing up against Sentinels in that game. So this clip's from a few days ago now, but still definitely relevant as we go here into the World Championship. FNS was on stream doing a watch party here, and he was kind of watching how 100 Thieves were playing Fracture, the strats they were using, the ideas they were coming up with, and of course, OpTic known, especially at Masters 1, to be the best Fracture team in the world, and of course, well, have had a couple of different results since then, of course, for example, at Masters 2, when they got pretty much bodied a couple of times on that particular map, but largely because you might well imagine that other teams looked very heavily into what exactly they're playing at, and 100 Thieves seemingly did exactly the same thing. FNS is like, wow, look, all these strats that they're employing 100T that ShahZaM has kind of drilled them to use are exactly ripped word for word, bar for bar from the OpTic Gaming playbook. Is this kind of fair enough? Is this how things go? Or is FNS like understandably frustrated about this?
Yes, it is. E-pop again. The OpTic special. Wait, it's fake. Another OpTic special. These guys are thieves. Literal 100 thieves. Stole everything.
ShahZaM is bit. So is Shroud. He's left Canteen to fill ShahZam's space.
To the T stolen. Sean here? Sean Garrers?
So of course this is life at the end of the day, right? If you're, if you're a player, if you're a top organization, if you win a tournament like Masters 1, that's why largely it's so difficult to stay on top in a game like Valorant or really any esports. It's because they're going to study everything you do, right? All of your Fracture gameplay, if you're OpTic, is going to get studied and either replicated or countered, right? Like if you're Sean Gayes and you're the coaching staff at 100 Thieves, you're going to be thinking, okay, well, OpTic, they're the team to study. What do they do? What are their strats? Like they do this, then they retreat, they do the B exec, but then they actually fake it and go back, draw the utility from the defenders, then they can attack A or B later with effectively no recourse because there's no utility to defend or whatever, right? These ideas that obviously OpTic came up with, and 100 Thieves like, yeah, damn, that's a good idea. Let's just straight copy and paste that idea into our playbook as well. So this is the thing, if you're OpTic or really any organization, is that this type of stuff is going to happen. The funny thing also, of course, is that, look, 100 Thieves as the name of the organization, they're out here thieving strats, right? They're straight up stealing strats, and therefore it is, I suppose, to be expected. But yeah, FNS did seem pretty frustrated about it, but at the same time, it's probably only what you can expect to happen, and therefore that's why you've got to keep evolving the playbook, right? And that's why, if anything, it's good probably not to have won the most recent event in a way, because if you're FPX, going back-to-back is going to be incredibly difficult, right? Everyone's looking at what you've done. The idea is, okay, you brought the fade in, you did this on certain maps, this on certain maps, the strategies that you're executing. The teams that take this stuff seriously are now going to have all those ideas in their playbook, and in addition, they're going to have ways to counter what, those strategies might be theoretically, right? So it is interesting because if everyone's looked at what FPX did, for example, at Masters 2, and all the top teams have those ideas in their playbook, they've also probably thought of ways to counter those ideas, and therefore, like, if you're 100 Thieves and you copy some more strategies, then other teams might be prepared for those strategies because they've kind of expected other teams to copy them and come up with them, right? So it's a bit of an interesting situation. Be it 100 Thieves stealing strategies, who is really surprised? But yeah, maybe OpTic just need to come up with some new ideas for the World Championship, I suppose. And maybe, honestly, if you know that 100 Thieves, what their playbook now looks like, you can therefore theoretically try and go forward and counter them as well. So it is an interesting one. Of course, look, these guys go way back into the Counter-Strike days, but maybe we'll get a matchup of these guys when it comes to the championship, which hopefully we will. Now, it's not guaranteed, and I don't really know, unfortunately, what happens here in terms of which group plays which group, but I looked up last year, and I believe the way the groups were paired last year is that the teams that get out of Group A match up with Group C, and B matches up with Group D. So if you kind of get out in the A3 winner side here in Group A, you will play the C5 winner from Group C, and the other way around to crisscross the matches. So let's say 100 Thieves get through this Group D. It's a tough Group D, but let's say they get through in the kind of lower side, and OpTic win both their games and get through in the upper side. B3 winner, I believe, it plays D5 winner, which could theoretically be OpTic versus 100 Thieves. So that would be pretty fun if we do get this matchup. It is possible, far from guaranteed, but possible, of course, at this tournament. But very much intrigued to your thoughts on all this stuff in the comment section below. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did enjoy it, hit on the like button. Tell us at YouTube gods, this is a good video. I just like you should see it as well, and I've grown the competitive Valorant community. Thank you as always, take care of yourselves, and I'll see you next time.